Well, hey, happy Thursday, everybody. It's Bitcoin Steven and the BTC Guru. What's happening?
Hey, it's another beautiful Thursday here in California.
It is a beautiful Thursday here in Southern California. I'm actually going to go out and play Torrey Pines South again today, that home of the U.S. Open a few weeks ago.
Excellent.
In a men's club tournament out there. So
I caught some clips of that Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, little celebrity foursome they did. That was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, it was pretty entertaining. I think that was really yeah, it's interesting how those things go. People love that stuff. They love that stuff.
Eat it up. Well, those guys are, they were jawing at each other and do that whole thing. That was a great part of it. And there's pretty good golf in there too.
Yeah. No, these guys, these athletes that get the hand-eye coordination of a quarterback are typically really good golfers.
Yeah.
Guys like pitchers and quarterbacks are typically really, really good golfers.
It was Mickelson, and then who was the other pro?
DeChambeau.
Yeah.
Bryson DeChambeau. Yeah.
Mickelson's he's pretty funny.
He's a character.
He's got a good sense of humor.
He does. He should. He's he's worth about $450 million. You get a lot to smile about.
Man, playing golf, that is crazy.
Dude, he's funny too, because he's a member out at the club that I'm a member at, and there's a couple of other pros out there, Adam or Xander Schauffele, who's actually playing on the Olympic team.
Yeah.
Okay, is there, and he's a member there, and Charlie Hoffman's also a member there, and these guys all have their own custom golf carts. Okay, they're almost like a Hummer golf cart or something. They're just insane with these speakers, and Mickelson's got like an antenna and stuff on his, but we have a rule at the club, and it's like the only ones that can take their club out on the course is guys that are major champions.
Oh, really?
So you'll see Phil, he'll pull up next to, Xander and Charlie before they're going out, and be like, "Oh, hey, what are you guys doing in the farms cart?" "Oh, that's right. You're not a major champion." Just nailing them. And
I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Real fun stuff. And it's funny. It's funny. Actually, out there at our club, and Phil gets tired. Xander's just been beating him bad. Right?
Yeah.
Xander's been taking him for a bunch of money. And Phil just hates it. And, so out there, this was a few months back, but they were out there playing after the 15th hole, they got into the 16th tee, and Mickelson was down, and he pressed him. Okay? So he doubled up the bet coming in. And the 16th hole at our club is like 235 yards across water. Okay.
Oh, geez.
And so Mickelson gets up there, and he hits it like 2 feet away.
Oh, my gosh.
2 feet away. And what's Schauffele do? He makes a hole in one.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. He makes a hole in one. Yeah, it's
How do you beat that? Jeez.
Yeah. Mickelson's like, I'm out of here. I'm done.
Yeah, screw that.
Yeah, I can't do this anymore. He's like, every time I go shoot 67, he shoots like 63.
Oh, my gosh.
But it's gonna be interesting seeing guys go over and play the Olympics. That's going on next month in Tokyo.
Yeah.
Or it's actually later this month, I think. In Tokyo.
It's brand new, right? In Olympics golf, I think.
Well, it was played.
Expedition
the Olympics last year, right?
Oh,
but it was the first time was a couple years before that. I guess it was 4 years before that.
Got it.
And that was the very first time they did. And Justin Rose won the gold medal for Europe. So it'd be interesting. I think that that'd be a pretty interesting thing to be able to go over there and play golf, in the Olympics.
That'd be fun.
That'd be pretty sweet. But it's going to be crazy. I mean, Tokyo's still got a problem over there with COVID. And
they said that I read an article yesterday when I was scanning through stuff. A lot of the venues are going to be empty. Hardly any tickets are being sold.
And part of these guys, it's like when they fly over, if they're on a plane where anybody ends up testing positive, they're withdrawn. They got to go home.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And
that's crazy.
That's crazy, and it's like, and that's the thing, same thing going on with the British Open, which is week after this next week. It's the same things. These guys, it's like whole different rules over there, different set of rules. They don't care if you're vaccinated or not. Even if you're vaccinated and somebody else gets it, it's like, you're gone. You got to go back home. So that's, tough thing, like with golf. I mean, these guys pay their own expenses.
Yeah, I know.
They're paying their own expenses, and you go over there and you get sent back home. Obviously, you didn't make any money. You go home, and I mean, if you play bad for the first 2 days, you still got to pay your caddy, you still got to pay all your stuff, and you didn't make any money.
Yeah,
so these guys are
business.
Yeah, it's tough business. These guys earn what they get. I'll tell you that, because it's nobody up there just putting it up for them. Now, granted, a lot of them make a lot of money with endorsements and things, but
I ran into a guy. I was working up in Alaska on a contract, and a guy was basically getting into the pro tour, and he said it's tough if you don't win or if you don't make a certain level, because you got to leave your tour, and on Monday you got to be at the next one,
right?
Because the guys that win or at a certain level, they don't have to get there till Wednesday or something like that.
Right. They have Monday qualifiers, and the Monday qualifiers, a lot of times you'll have 30 or 40 guys playing for 2 spots.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to go to a city. You fly to a city. You go play on Monday. You don't make it. Okay, go. you're going to the nenext city.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of those things, and it's interesting. The guy that you watched play in that event with DeChambeau, his caddy he and his caddy separated actually Wednesday this week, just right the day before that event, I think, and that's going to be a real test right there for him. Is how do you get
a new caddy,
because he's kind of a crazy guy. He's like a scientist. He's just he's bulked himself up to be this big monster who hits the ball 400 yards, and but he's really, really brilliant. He just sees golf in a totally different way. He's the only one out there who plays with 1-length irons. All his irons are all like this length of a 6 iron.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And so there's so many different things, and facets about him that's different than every other golfer out there. It's going to be really hard to have a brand new caddy who doesn't know. Nobody else speaks the language that he does.
Yeah. He comes at it from a very specific point of view.
And plus he's out there. He's out there banging balls till midnight all the time, with all these things. And if you're his caddy, you got to be there all the time. It's probably the most demanding caddy job, in the world. But over the last 5 years, I think, his caddy's probably made, $2 million. So,
yeah, it's good stuff. It's funny you said that, because I also read another article about Kobe, about, being out there pounding balls all the time.
Uh-huh.
And Tom Brady did the same thing. Charles Barkley said he was going to play golf with Tom Brady, and it was right before the season started. And Tom Brady was running wind sprints in the parking lot of the golf thing. And like, what are you doing? He's all, hey, this is a tough business. You got to work your ass off to make it to the top. And Kobe was the same thing. They're like, why are you so mean to the new guys coming up through the, the rookies and stuff? He's all, they'll get to practice 10 minutes late, and then they'll leave early. They don't understand that if you want to be the best in this game, you have to stay after. I'm here till sometimes midnight shooting baskets every day, and I'm practiced early and I'm leaving late. These guys don't want to put in that work, but they want all the the famous stuff. But it's like that with life and anything. It's even with Bitcoin and all this stuff. You got to put in the work if you want to really make something happen.
Yeah. You got to be able to. You got to put in the work. You've got to learn. It's kind of, we come back to this all the time. It's self-education. I'm 61 years old. Okay, and where am I learning about the blockchain? Okay, it's there's senior class I'm going to about it. It's just I'm going out and finding the people that know the most about it and studying them.
Right.
I was reading a real interesting thing while I was at the car dealer all day yesterday with my mom. I was reading a thing about the Winklevoss twins.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, Gemini. They got that Gemini exchange.
Yeah, and these guys, they were some of the original guys who thought about Facebook, right?
Yeah.
And you watch the movie Social Network. They ended up going back and suing Zuckerberg, and they got $65 million. They got $20 million in cash and $45 million in Facebook stock. And what they did, and this was in 2012, okay, they bought $1 million of Bitcoin, okay, and Bitcoin was like
$200 or
like $100 or something. Yeah. So they said their Bitcoin now is worth like $6 billion.
Oh, geez.
It's worth like $6 billion. And I mean, they've got over 150,000 Bitcoins. They bought what they bought back then in 2012 is they bought 1% of the amount circulating.
Wow. That's amazing.
1% of the amount circulating, you know? So, I mean, who's going to get the last laugh? Did Zuckerberg take something from him and
yeah.
Or who's going to ultimately get
class action suit going after him and all the other guys about all that craziness of, shadow banning or whatever.
Yeah, but when that was settled, I mean, Facebook was worth like 60 billion, and now it's worth like 750 billion. It's like, so, but it's cool. These guys have got a really good attitude. I mean, and these guys obviously are big believers. In
they're one of my favorite exchanges. They were the first exchange. I met the president of Coinbase, and then I talked to him because he was in San Francisco, and I was living near San Francisco. And we just didn't hit it off. I just felt a little uneasy. Mm-hmm. I won't go to any more depth than that. Just my gut told me no, so I followed my gut for once. And I went and found Gemini and read that story. I'm like, okay, this is cool. I like these guys, and they've been a great exchange. I've been with them for 5-6 years. Their firewall techniques are awesome. And they've done it once so far in the whole time I've been with them, but they have 4 firewalls, and they let the people get through the first one, and then they watch them, what they're doing. So they figure out how they got through and all that kind of stuff.
Right, and where their other vulnerabilities might be. Right?
And then while they're watching them, they shut down the from the third firewall in. They shut it. They take it. They basically pull the plug, and they're not the actual servers are not connected to the internet anymore. Mm-hmm. And so your stuff is safe basically. And so they did that once. It was down for a weekend. Why they got attacked. They figured it out. They plugged the hole, turned it back on Monday. Everything was fine, and which I think is awesome.
Yeah,
let me get rid of this.
Yeah,
they're really good at that because that's my hard-earned money, and you're trusting them because it's in their wallet. Basically, you send your Bitcoin and they store it in their wallet. They're a custodian for you, and you got to trust them with that. And that's something that you want to do not too often in the blockchain world is trust somebody else with your stuff, because the blockchain is trustless. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but for the ease of liquidity and be able to move it around and buy other things, and their fees are not not outrageous. Never had a problem. Ever had a problem with them for 5 years.
Yeah, they had before Gemini. I think they invested in one. Was it BitConnect or something like that? It was like they put like $1 million. Yeah. They put like $1 million into one that failed. And some of the guys that were running it were actually tied to some of the Silk Road guys and stuff like that, and end up going to jail. And but that's the one thing I really like. After kind of reading their story, in the movie, if you watch the movie, they were kind of portrayed as villains.
Yeah.
And these guys aren't villains at all. I mean, these guys are freaking heroes. I mean, they're
as far as I know, as far as I'm concerned, they got a little screwed over.
Yeah, they did. And, they're brilliant guys. It's like, they're so passionate and love the Bitcoin. It's like they lost $1 million, and that didn't deter them at all. Right. Then they just said, okay, look, we learned from that. Let's go. And that's when they opened up Gemini.
Right.
And kind of
that's why they did the firewall the way they did and all that stuff.
So they changed all the stuff because of that bad experience that they had again. And that was back in 2012. So, these guys got in back when, they were taking arrows in the back, like when Michael Saylor and these guys, they waited a long time to get in.
Yes.
They waited a long time to get in. And then, they got in and they're true believers. Right. But, you got to respect people that are back there at the very beginning, just saw that and said, you know what, let's go lock up 1% of the supply that's out there, because this is going to be worth something. And they've stuck to their guns, man. They haven't sold any of the Bitcoin they've ever acquired.
Yeah. Yeah. They use it for, the backing of their exchange and such.
Right.
So they're very well funded, very well insured exchange. Hey, I read another headline this morning about Visa. I think about a month ago, we kind of said, hey, Visa's getting into settling transactions over the blockchain.
Right.
And so I read today, they've only been doing it for, I think, about a quarter, 3 months. They've done $1 billion worth of transactions on the blockchain, which is crazy. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, that's crazy awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be something now. We talked earlier about that. And you told me that the banks they're using Ripple. Are all the banks using Ripple? And that
no, Visa specifically is using Ripple for some of their settlement and their transactions. So
okay.
If Ripple's being still that SEC's going on, so it's kind of cooled the price down. But I believe if they get through that fine, which I think they will, everybody says they will, but we don't know the future.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to be a good altcoin to keep an eye on. I mean, if they're I don't know. I have to go do a little more research to how the percentage of that 1 billion that was on the Ripple blockchain, and as opposed to other ones, but that was going to be their main blockchain. And then Cardano's right there behind them. With ADA, with that blockchain, they're partnering with some very large banks to do the settlement side of things, and with countries to have Cardano be the country's distributed blockchain. So that's another one to look at too. I'm real bullish on Cardano. I like them a lot. I met the owner guy in Wyoming at a blockchain event at the University of Wyoming, and real down to earth guy, knows his stuff. They've rewritten that blockchain about 5 times before they release it for the first time, because he's like, no, I want it perfect. And this the one they got is really, really good, and their smart contracts are coming out this summer, and the adoption rate on them is off the charts. So those are two altcoins to really keep an eye on.
Yeah, they are for sure. What else was I was gonna say?
You were talking about Ripple on Visa.
Yeah.
You get 61, and sometimes that train of thought
leaves
without you on the train.
It just leaves me.
Yeah. Hey, where'd you go?
Where'd it go? Where'd it go? That's what I was saying. The Winklevoss twins were the first ones to try and set up a Bitcoin ETF. Okay?
Yes.
They were the first ones to try and do that. Now, it got turned down by the SEC, but what they've been doing is they've been working to develop a really good working relationship with the regulators, which has been, that's also a pretty powerful thing to be able to kind of be doing.
Yeah, I mean, they're in the worst state ever, New York, and they're trying to do this stuff that nobody's done before. So they're, when they get through it, it's going to be rock solid.
Yeah, that's what I mean. See, these guys are, you look at them a little bit. I look at them differently than I look at Michael Saylor. These guys are the pioneers. I mean, these are the true pioneers with Bitcoin. Okay, I mean, nobody else is out there staking that, going in and trying to go through the regulation and doing all these other things, right? Like what these guys have been doing, because they've been doing this now for 9 years. Okay.
Yeah, a long time.
They've been doing this for 9 years. So after I read more about that, I really got a lot of respect for what those guys have done, over that amount of time, because they really are helping set up the backbone for this, and they were just committed, and they just all in on that deal, and it's obviously proved out to be very valuable. But I mean, it's unbelievable what it could ultimately be worth, right?
Yeah, when the first U.S. based EFT gets approved, if it's going to add a ton of fuel to the Bitcoin price. I mean, Bitcoin's it's being compressed, like we've been talking about so much right now. It's ready to explode, and any event like that is going to just make it. It's going to shoot up like a rocket.
Absolutely, yeah.
One thing I forgot to tell you on the Cardano token is Greystone, which is a mutual fund. Where you could buy part of the mutual fund, and they invested. Bitcoin. They have a Bitcoin only one, they have Ethereum only one, and now they have a Cardano ADA one.
Okay.
So it's these altcoins are coming into their own, and there's going to be a bunch of them that bubble up, and there's some maybe wheels that might be bubble up to the top too.
Yeah, I think we got something there. We got a tiger by the tail there. It's going to be really fun. I've got some pretty interesting calls here in the next couple of days, and we will be ready to roll that forward. I think we're really going to disrupt the way charities do business out there. It's going to be,
I agree.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Every time we talk about it, it evolves. It just keeps evolving with everything that we're able to do, and we're just really gonna be able to help a lot of people. I was fortunate. I was able to spend the day with my mom yesterday, helping her turn her car in. She's 83 now, so, and talking to her, about my brother, my brother lived to be 40, 2 weeks shy of his 46th birthday. Okay?
Wow.
And my mom, when she was helping him 8 hours a day, okay, every day for 23 years, up until the time she was 68.
Wow.
Amazing. She was lifting him around and trying to do all this other kind of stuff because, there was just, if she didn't do it, it wasn't going to get done,
Right.
And it's
that's crazy.
Yeah, it was really crazy. And, having her talk about, what it was like as a parent when you get a notice from the insurance company that you've reached your $1 million max on the insurance and they're not going to cover anymore.
Yeah. Now you're uninsured. Oh man.
You're uninsured and you got a kid on life support systems. How's that all work? For 24 hours, you need 24 hours a day nursing care.
Yeah.
So, okay. Where's that all come from? Yeah. So, I mean, we got a great story. It's time, it's time, we talk about these charities and, they've just become such big behemoths now and the money's not going where it needs to the people. It's going, you got these big organizations with all these offices and, all this kind of stuff. And, we're going to show them a better way to do it and actually make it work and show them how it works. And
yeah, it's going to be an exciting test case.
It's going to be real exciting.
Or case study. It's not a test case, it's a case study.
Yeah. Case study, it's going to work. Absolutely. And
I know it's weird how, a little idea can spark into something. And then we have this platform called blockchain technology that, you can reinvent things that just have gotten too slow, too molasses and you could get rid of all that. The whole trustless part of the blockchain is amazing. In the charitable work, what's one of the biggest things is trust that they're actually going to do what they told you they're going to do, that the money really does go to, what you gave it to. In most cases, pennies on your dollar goes to, like you're giving it to help wells in Africa. Pennies on your dollars will go to that. The rest will go to overhead and whatever.
It goes to the telemarketing firm that's calling you on the phone to raise money from you.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's
so
where the biggest chunk of the money goes.
Yeah. So you kind of have to trust them, and most of the time you're left with egg in your face. With blockchain and a visible ledger that's everywhere that you can't fake out, if we say it's going to do this 1, 2, and 3 in a blockchain, it's going to do 1, 2, and 3 because we don't control it. The blockchain just does it. Right. At 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Boom, boom. Just continue doing it with no agendas. And with nothing, it's just following the rules, and that's all it does. And that's the beauty. That's why Bitcoin is so awesome, and Ethereum, and all these coins, and why the blockchain is very so extremely. I don't know how to use the word of how revolutionary blockchain is. It's something that in the history of mankind
ever.
Yeah, it's like the first coming of Jesus, or the second coming. I don't know, one of them.
It is. I mean, it's like I was talking to my mom yesterday. I said, yeah, I honestly believe that, we're going to be able to disrupt the charity business the same way that, Uber disrupt taxis and Airbnb disrupted the hotel markets. I think we're going to see some big change in that. And it's going to be, it's due, we were kind of going back and forth about it. And she says, well, they're closer, we've been watching muscular dystrophy, for example, because that's what my brother had for 50 years. Okay. And my mom says, well, they're closer, to the cure. And I said, no, you're not closer. It's like a math problem. You either cure it or you don't. Right.
Yeah. That's the frustrating part.
You don't get closer. You don't know what closer is. It's like, you just got to keep find the things that don't work. But it's like, it's frustrating because, for 50 years, people been pouring into this. And, you go in and you look around and there's, hundreds of offices all across the country that this place has, and thousands of employees that it's taking care of, and the money that's being raised is going to pay salaries and all this other kind of stuff. Is like maybe there's a reason we haven't solved it over the last 50 years because the money hasn't been going where it needs to go. And
I truly believe that for all our major issues that we have, there either is a cure or there can be one found extremely quickly. Cancer and all of this stuff. Alzheimer's, all this stuff. It's just it's sad that that's what we've come to, but we can start making a little bit of change. All we need is
Yeah.
a little bit of change.
Well, there's a, Peter Diamandis, who, did that interview with Michael Saylor.
Yeah.
They've got a business down here in La Jolla that's basically, these guys want to live to be like 120, they just want to live forever. Right. And they've got a place there where they actually do like genome mapping. They go in and they map your whole genome system, and they can see like if there's potential problems coming, and they can start working on those now instead of waiting for them to get there.
Yeah.
Which is, it's unbelievable, the kind of stuff that you need. But again, that all comes with thinking way outside the box and putting away all traditional thought when it comes to age and medicine and things along those lines. And that's where you've got a lot of these big industry, charities. I'm going to have to Google that and see how much money's raised every year in charities. But, these charities have got so big, they've got so big, and they're not doing what they need to do. They're not able to do what they need to do because of the way that they've gone about doing it. And, because of the evolution of the blockchain, it's really going to give us an opportunity to show what can be done and what is possible. Okay. And once people see what's possible, they're going to see that, if they do it the right way, God, they could really help everybody and just do an amazing thing, because they can have their own coin.
Yeah.
They can have their own coin. When people donate, they get to feel good because they made a donation, but they also get a lottery ticket in their pocket.
Yep.
If you run this thing right, man, you can increase the value. So it's really gonna be fun disrupting such a large business. Is industry, not a business, an industry, right?
You can pay attention to community, liquidity, and technology. Those are the three pillars.
Those are the three pillars.
You build on those, and that's basically the formula or recipe for success in the cryptocurrency world.
That's it. All right, guys. Hey, I'm going to have to jump. I've got another call coming up here in just a few minutes. So we will be back at you tomorrow. Same time, same channel.
Take care.